Hey guys, Wyatt Claypool here. So finally, federal NDP leader Jagmeet Singh has admitted that he is no longer voting no confidence in the Liberal government because Jagmeet Singh's NDP is broke and he's probably not going to win re-election. Yes, he now has his pension, that day has passed, but Jagmeet Singh is also a coward and doesn't want to face an election that he could potentially lose in, so he is going to be dragging this government out as long as humanly possible. I know there are rumors out there that Mark Carney might want an election right away, but I think he even knows the polling isn't actually that good for the Liberal Party. Nobody really knows who he is yet, which is bad for being a political leader. And he can't really run away from the fact that the fundamentals of Canada's economy, the crime in our country, the drugs, all of that stuff is bad and that will eventually catch up to him, no matter if it is Justin Trudeau's party or it is now Mark Carney's party. I'm just assuming that Mark Carney is going to be winning the leadership on Sunday. I think it's a fair assumption to be making considering how much Team Trudeau is behind him. There's a chance he could lose, but at least I'm saying 90% shot Mark Carney wins. He might win by a large margin, might be super close. I don't know. But I want to get into what Jagmeet Singh said specifically today at a press conference. But before I get into that, guys, just a reminder, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you are not yet a subscriber, and then leave a comment. What do you think Jagmeet Singh's game is here? What do you think Mark Carney and the Liberals are going to offer him to keep him on side? Anyways, but without further ado, here is Jagmeet Singh speaking at a press conference and answering a question from a journalist asking him whether or not the no confidence vote is still on.
Hi, David Thurden from CBC News. So, am I understanding you correctly? A confidence vote is completely off the table until you get some sort of support for workers through.
Yeah, so I'll put it this way to be very clear. We believe at this time, with the urgency of what we're up against, the seriousness of the impact on our economy, on workers, the threat to workers' jobs, the increase in cost of living, that we want to see protections in place first and an election second. We're going to have an election this year. We're ready for that. But we want to see supports for workers done first. For us, this is a matter of putting workers first, and election can come second. And so, yes, absolutely, we are ready to see supports passed in the House, put in place, working to support people who are hurt right now, and then we'll go to an election.
Notice what he said there. It's not even that if Carney and the Liberals sign on to a commitment to pass this stuff and it happens that he will then call an election. No, no, no. It must be passed, implemented, and shown to be working before he will call an election. The gears of government, if you are not yet aware, I doubt you aren't, they move very slowly. So Jagmeet Singh is basically saying, I'm not calling an election until Carney calls one, effectively. And by the way, the definition of what the NDP means by supporting workers is so broad and bloated. I guarantee he will find 10,000 reasons for how whatever the Liberals do, it's still not good enough. Because the rhetoric I've heard him use around the trade war and needing to support workers is that, well, we need to be giving support to all workers all the time. They need more benefits no matter what industry they work in, even if it has nothing to do with what the Americans would be tariffing from Canada. It has nothing to do with industries that export into the US. He still wants them to also get upgraded benefits and other supports. Even if you work in like the tourism industry in Banff and you're unionized, he wants you to have more, protections as well. And he's not doing this out of the kindness of his heart. One, the government increasing artificially benefits to workers does not actually benefit people in general. It benefits those workers who are not laid off because they become too expensive. And in time, it will cause more inflation, which means even those who do receive the benefits will eventually have all of their benefits washed away by the fact that the government printed massive amounts of money and raised taxes in order to pay for all of this stuff. Now, I just want to move on to another clip. That was from the press conference question and answer section that obviously Jagmeet Singh didn't post the clips from. But now I want to play a clip that Jagmeet Singh actually posted himself. Because I always find it interesting the sorts of things that parties actually post from their own press conferences, their own content. What did they think was a good moment for Jagmeet Singh? Here it is.
Jack, he wants tax cuts for millionaires at a time when workers are going to lose their jobs.
He's currently talking about Pierre Poilievre. Jagmeet Singh is so economically illiterate. He thinks that tax cuts are somehow an anti-worker measure, even at a time when Pierre Poilievre is right, we should be trying to outcompete the Americans. I, in fact, disagree with Pierre Poilievre, who has also backed the idea of retaliatory tariffs. It's not that I want to roll over and let the Americans do whatever they want. It's that it only hurts Canadians to put in place retaliatory tariffs. Yeah, it also hurts the Americans, but you hurt yourself more than you hurt your opponent. That's why if Trump tariffed Canada, he'd probably have to walk it back from pressure from his own people within a few weeks, because it's going to hurt all the states that import a lot from Canada more than it actually hurts Canadians. And if we just cut our own taxes, our corporate taxes and our income taxes, our economy wouldn't even be bothered by the 25% tariffs if they do eventually go into place, because people will have enough money to save in order to lower the prices of their imports and domestic goods to make up for the cost increase from the tariffs. Anyways, but I'll let Jagmeet finish here.
It's a ridiculous approach. That's what he's come out. That's a specific tax cut that he's talked about that helps a very, very, very small percentage of Canadians that earn mostly over $1.4 million. That's who it mostly helps.
Yeah, job creators. I'm not that wealthy, obviously. I don't employ anybody. But I do understand the idea that even if someone has more money than me, it's not that they're hoarding it in a bank account, they don't want anyone to touch it, they basically are just Scrooge McDuck. It's somebody who probably, if they are able to save more money, is not just going to put into a beach house somewhere. They're probably going to invest in it in a new location for their business, or they want to expand their operations in some way, expand production, hire more people. That is good for the economy. Having less money locked up in government coffers, employing only people for fake jobs and wasting money on programs nobody needs, we can have it in the pockets of people who are then going to expand their ability to be profitable by hiring more people and starting more businesses, expanding locations, all that sort of thing.
That is a ridiculous approach in the face of a trade war where we got steel workers in Sault Ste. Marie saying, I'm going to lose my job. We got auto workers in Windsor, auto workers in Oshawa, who every time their line shuts down, they think, that's it, I'm going to go back home. We got workers now across the boards that are wondering, what am I going to do to put food on the table? How?
Well, are they going to put food on the table by taxing people more? I guess you can do that if you're a communist. But I think, again, the approach is better to keep the company healthy by making it so that that company doesn't go bankrupt, in part through the pressure of government taxation.
How am I going to keep my home? And Pierre Poilievre proposes a tax cut for millionaires. I mean, it's very on brand for Pierre Poilievre, but it is not what Canadians need right now.
Who could guess why this guy's not doing well in the polling right now? He talks like he's running for student union president at U of T. It's just all bad. It's just all trying to play to frankly ignorant voters who don't understand that somebody with a lot of money being able to save more of their money doesn't hurt you at all. In fact, government programs do not actually help people that much. The amount of money you have to put into a government program to deliver the same quality of service that the private sector does is monumental. It's like 2 to 3 times the amount of money the government invests in something that the private sector could do for far cheaper, with better quality service. Let people save their own money. Let businesses save their own money. More people will be hired. Wages will, in fact, be going up in time, and inflation will go down. So those grocery prices that Jagmeet Singh keeps blaming on the grocery store for raising, it has nothing to do with the fact that there's way more money in the economy these days and all the dollars are worth less. All that will go down. It will all go down. And I think Jagmeet Singh actually knows that. I think Jagmeet Singh is just a crybaby who wants to pretend that he cares so much about workers, and he is here to fight for them and against big businesses, against the corporations. Hilariously, he constantly does little video media pieces where he's in some local organic grocery store. It's like, dude, look at the markups that place is going to have on an avocado, and then compare it to Safeway or Save on Foods or some other large grocery store chain, Loblaws, that he hates so much. They will cost more. And it's not because they're evil and nasty. It's because they are not able to deal in economies of scale. The idea that corporate grocery stores are ripping people off is patently absurd. They are not ripping people off. They raise their prices when market pressures force their prices to go up. Sometimes they raise prices just to raise prices. Sure, that might be because there's a lot of demand on a particular product. You know, supply and demand, Jagmeet. Of course, you know what that is, but he just pretends not to. Anyways, so that should be that for today. I'm going to be back probably later with a video regarding everyone saying that Pierre Poilievre needs to be doing more media and that he should be going on podcasts like Patrick Bet-Davis in the US. I want to do a whole response to where I think where people are right about what Pierre Poilievre's media strategy should be and where people are also wrong. Because I find that sometimes people who are on social media too much, and I get it, I'm on social media a lot, but people who are on social media too much will make, I find, wrong assumptions about how politics actually works, and they won't know how to connect with voters. So I think a lot of what Poilievre is doing right now are smart moves. In other places, I think he needs to do better. He needs to do more media, but that doesn't mean running down south of the border and sitting on a podcast with a guy who's extremely pro-Trump, and there's nothing wrong with being pro-Trump, but he's extremely pro-Trump at a time when we are in trade tensions with the US. That looks bad, and it would look just as bad as Mark Carney going on The Daily Show to launch his run as prime minister, as well as moving his business to New York City. Just the political realities. I wish people really didn't care what podcast you went on because they understand every podcast has an audience that crosses borders, but that's just the reality of how politics works. Again, I tend to be the one to buck conventional wisdom, but every once in a while, there's an aspect of conventional wisdom that is true, especially when you're on a short time frame and an election is within less than a year, even if we have to wait until October. So anyways, that's it for me today, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Do all that great stuff. See you later.